Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. As you can see, we are joined by a guest on the channel today. It is Matty from the Magpie channel. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. All right, aye. Good to see you, mate. It's been a while.
It has. International break. The players are away sunning it in Dubai. We're here down on the Ousman having a beer.
Lovely stuff.
So good to have a catch up. Good to come on and talk a little bit about Newcastle United. 2 good wins on the bounce before heading into the international break. We've just got to get back into it and try and get one of those European spots, don't we?
We do, aye. Obviously, 4th is very much there for the taking. For me, you look at Spurs' turmoil that they're going through at the minute. This is Wednesday, we're recording this Wednesday night. They're apparently making a decision on Conte's future. Whether he stays or goes, I don't think it really matters that much to me, because I think the players' heads aren't in it. Apparently Ryan Mason will take over for the rest of the season if he does.
Seeing that, yeah.
I'm happy with that. Conte stays, I'm happy with that as well, because it's just a bit of a laughing stock at the minute, aren't they? So they're on a bit of a downward trajectory, whereas Newcastle, 2 wins in a row, on the up.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we hope to see this season. And it's not just what's going on this season at the club on the pitch. There's been loads going on off the pitch. We've seen fantastic engagement from the club since the owners came in. Darren Eales, big fan of having the fans involved, and just today we've heard a little bit about that. Now, you might remember this at the end of last year. The Premier League introduced the fan engagement standard, and that was basically where all the Premier League teams agreed to get thoughts from fans before making major decisions. Being a little bit sceptic, I've got a feeling the Premier League probably got that out because of all of the Super League stuff. Hang on, this is a good way to get all the fans on our side. But anyway, as part of that, Newcastle released theirs today. Darren Eales made an announcement of what the club has kind of done so far and what they also hope to do in the future, what they could potentially ask the fans about in the future. And a few things on that list have raised a few eyebrows, because it includes club badge, club colours, club name, and I wouldn't get too irate just yet, but we'll talk about it in this video. I thought I'd start off by talking a little bit about what's happened so far. Although this was introduced at the end of last year, really we've seen it from day one, since the owners came in.
Yeah. The first time in our lives.
Absolutely,
you know what
absolutely, I mean?
Yeah. Just reading the stuff today that the Premier League put out, Newcastle United put out, and just seeing the images that went with it. You know, when the fans that travelled across to Saudi Arabia were lucky enough to sit in that room with the Eales, with Stavely, with a few of the players. It's just amazing, man. Because look, we went years with nothing from Charlie, nothing from Ashley, nothing from Dennis Wise before that, and all these other morons that just wanted nothing to do with the fans. At least, you know, these have came in and shown that they care, they want to communicate, and it's not just about the money they're providing, it's the connection that they're trying to build.
Exactly, and it was a unanimous decision by all the Premier League clubs to join this standard. I'd be very interested to know if it would have been unanimous under the previous ownership, because I don't think we've heard anything for however many years. But as you say, from the moment of the takeover, and it's announcements from the club that are coming out, the stuff they're trying to make better. But I just think even just social media and being able to see some of those behind the scenes talks, training photos, because at the end of the day, although we see them play at St James's Park every 2 weeks, or if you go to the away games once a week, we're talking about football every day, aren't we? Yeah. Like, people in Newcastle love football, and to have that constant interaction day to day through photo shoots, videos behind the scenes, I mean, it makes a big difference to everyone, doesn't it? It's
only going to get better as well for me. You know, they're talking about this fan zone that's going to come in. I'm sure you'll see the likes of Darren Eales pop in there and have a chat with fans before the game, and maybe get ex-players on stage, things like that, you know, and just keep building that. And you've seen it the way they've done it with Shearer's Bar and other events they want to do, and they're really trying to give back more. I think you see it in the social media as well. Like you see the YouTube channel. These things now, like that match cam that they do. You know, the match cam where you see the players come into the tunnel afterwards, and
it is good.
You know, you've seen Joe Linton when he was suspended against Wolves, but he's there waiting in the tunnel for the lads, and everyone's shaking him, his hand, jumping about. Little things like that where you realise the team spirits is there, and you can connect a bit more with them.
You can. Connection, that's it. Engagement, connection. So in the PDF, and I will put the link down in the description if you want to read it later on, but we will go through it. They named a couple of the things that they've done so far. Monthly meetings with NUST, news on stadium commentary. So you might remember that they brought in a new commentary system for blind fans to be able to get involved. They set up the one meet, which I think was what you mentioned earlier about. Oh, I think it was at St James's Park where a whole host of fans got invited to go and actually talk to Darren Eales. They pledged 150 grand to the food bank, so that was huge as well. Talking about war flags, talking about NUFC Pride as well. So loads of stuff going on there, lots of good stuff. As you've mentioned, there's more to come. I think in terms of, I think the biggest thing for me and the biggest talking point right now for what's coming next is that Strawberry Place development.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned fan zones. You know, the amount of times I've said the word fan zone on this channel now must be putting people to sleep, but it goes back to it, doesn't it? It was such a key area around the stadium, and we all want to see it extended. Just a quick one, do you reckon the extension could come as quickly as the next year or two, or do you think they'll look to really build something there and come back to that later?
Well, I'm hearing that it's meant to be, the fan zone's probably going to be ready for next season. They want that,
right.
They want that in like the end of this year, hopefully, and then they extend the stadium hopefully in like a year or two's time. So it's because of how difficult it is to get around it, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
It's like, how do they do it where, you know, if these owners had came in a bit earlier and they were there to do it during the World Cup winter break, that would have been ideal, because now it's like, well, how do we go about extending the stadium? Because it's going to take, 6-9 months or something easily.
Yeah.
So how do you go about getting rid of like 10,000 fans, whatever they're going to need to
yeah.
extend the stadium? So that's the sticky one. And you've seen it in the 90s where they had the cranes up, they were still playing the games, but it was easier then because them seats weren't there. Yeah. Now that they're there, it's like, how do you go, right, well, you can't go to like, I don't know how it's going to work.
I was going to say, there's enough fights as it is for the tickets without saying 10,000 season ticket holders, you're not allowed to go in.
I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to they should build like a temporary little hotel and everyone can just sit on the balconies and watch the game or something, purely Belter style.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Loads of scaffolding and everyone just gets on top.
Loads of extra safe scaffolding, safe standing.
Yeah, well, it's interesting actually, and we'll see what happens at the end of the season with season tickets, because depending on renewal numbers, partly I thought if you don't have a season ticket, I don't know what will happen, but if they didn't release too many, is that because they need to accommodate people from that stand into other places in the stadium?
Yeah, true.
But we'll see what happens. But as I said at the start of the video, some of the stuff that they did mention to potentially be discussed with fans, and as I say, this is called club heritage assets. So these are the big things. These are things like club crest, club colours, club name, that really, I'm surprised they even put it on the document. To be honest, I was going to say it's a quick conversation. No, basically,
absolutely not.
As to whether those things could change. Now, in fairness, if you go onto the actual Premier League fan standards, it's on there as well. So I partly feel like have Newcastle just kind of taken that off there, put it on their own, but the wording on it is actually that those three things, so crest, team name and colours, are in scope for discussions with the fans. What do you make of that wording?
Scope is important, isn't it? It's like in discussion as well. It's not like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And at least they are going to interact with fans on it.
Yes.
And I'm sure there'll be, a way of doing it on social media as well to engage people who can't get St James's Park to discuss it or can't get involved. But for me, the discussion over a team name change, absolutely not.
No.
Like the colours, no, can't come away from black, white stripes.
This is why I was quite taken back, and we just sat down to have a drink. And I was like, Matty, we're gonna have to talk about this one, because I thought, no way. When I saw it, I can't believe that they've even put it on the document.
I know.
Now.
Just think if that was actually did that, there'd be uproar.
Yeah.
Just because we obviously like these new owners, we've got more faith in them.
Yeah.
We're leaning on the positive side of things, rightfully so. But
and that's it, isn't it? Because the owners no doubt want to come in, win football matches, which we like, buy players, which we like, try and achieve cups, trying to achieve European football, which we like. But what they also want to do is build brand. They want to build the club, and part of that, things like a badge change. I mean, is that something more along the lines you could maybe see?
I think that is by far the most realistic one out of the three that's bullet pointed there. I mean, even if you look at this badge from back in the day, like they've got like 3 stripes in the background. The colour's a bit different, isn't it? A bit more transparent. I think what they'll do is they'll just modernise the badge a bit. They might keep it the same, but just tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of rumours that it's going to be a circle emblem, like you see everywhere
everybody's
now.
Doing it.
Man City did it ages ago. Everyone does it because it's better and it's easier for marketing, for branding, for
printing,
merchandise,
probably as well.
For printing on shirts, everything, printing on boards, wherever you want to put it. It's just much easier, isn't it? If you've got a circle instead of like things pointing out and sticking out. So I could see the badge change happening, but they're going to have to be careful with that, I think.
And that's the thing, if they do go down that route, I mean, we do have a couple of other badges that we've used previously that are already round as well, so could we maybe tease them into that? Hang on, we understand where you're coming from, but maybe we could go for that. So you let me know your thoughts down below on crest, colours, badge. I mean, one thing that wasn't mentioned, or at least that I didn't see, was things like stadium name. Now that's been something that's been talked about quite a bit. Obviously, when we had this conversation before we went on, nobody particularly liked it when it was the Sports Direct Arena. I think the split seems, I was going to say 50-50. I don't really know, but I've seen back and forth with fans on the fact that if we did get, you know, a big payday to pay for a lot of new players coming in, if you called it Saudi St James's Park, or St James's Park incorporated by, I'm still 50-50 on that. It would be definitely how they did it more than what they did.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? I mean, in a perfect world, it stays St James's Park.
Yeah.
But if it's a way of increasing revenue and then combating financial fair play, then you've just got to get with the times, unfortunately. I mean, hopefully they don't change it entirely. Hopefully the St James's Park word's still in there, because you look at, again, we're going to mention Man City with Etihad Stadium. I mean, it's been that way for years. Everything's Etihad there, Etihad Campus, Etihad on the tops. So with St James's Park, hopefully that name stays there, but it could be, like you said, Riyadh Air or something at St James's Park. And that's the way of doing it. And the big thing is that you said, you know, we hated it when it changed to Sports Direct Arena. It sounds awful, it looked awful with the big letters everywhere. The main part of that, though, was I think a lot of fans mightn't have been that bothered if Mike actually then went and bought a £50 million player after he said it was going to be Sports Direct Arena. So the thing is that we were against that because it didn't impact me. But the way this is going to impact is that if they change it to Saudi at St James's Park or whatever, it's going to get invested back in the club.
Yes, and that's the thing. We've talked about a few different things there, so make sure you let me know your thoughts down below. I've no doubt there's reactions both ways in the comments and generally with Newcastle fans, but I think the ultimate thing is they've come in and so far they've been great. They've listened, they've taken care, they've pretty much done what the fans have asked to this point, and if they were going to make changes, just like this fan engagement, I don't think they would do it without consulting the fans first.
Yeah.
So yes, let me know your thoughts on all of that down below. Thank you to Matty for joining in the video. His link will be in the description, so be sure to go and check him out if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, comments down below, and I'll catch you later.